Step one, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Crypto, where we turn your early hours in the morning into your edge and financial freedom. I've got a few headlines today. As I said yesterday, we were going to get the Bank of Japan minutes, and I will be breaking that down this morning. I also have another headline that talks on that resistance that I was talking about for yesterday at about $90,000. So we will dive into that article as well. But let's get you prepped for some success today. We've got that stock heat map pulled up like always. We've got things looking slightly red for the morning, but nothing too concerning. We've got Apple sitting down 0.11 in the pre-market. We've got Nvidia sitting down 0.62. We've got Berkshire Hathaway sitting up 0.16. We've got Amazon is sitting down 0.14 for the pre-market so far. We've got Eli Lilly down 0.22. We've got ExxonMobil up 0.22. We've got Tesla sitting down 0.14. We got P&G sitting up 0.19. We've got Microsoft sitting up 0.12. Google sitting up 0.05. And we've got Meta sitting up 0.12. Let's hop over to the crypto side of things. We are looking at a bit of a mixed bag on that daily so far. We do have Bitcoin sitting down 0.14, Ethereum down 0.1. We do have XRP down 1.2 as well. We've got BNB up 1.5, Solana up 0.8. We've got Dogecoin up 5.4, Cardano sitting up at 3.1. We've got Tron sitting down 0.9. We've got Chainlink up 0.8. We've got Avalanche up 0.4. We've got TON sitting down 0.7. We've got Leo sitting down 0.2. We've got Stellar Lumens down 0.2 as well. HBAR sitting up at 1.9. Shiba Inu up 2.2. And SWI up 0.04. And to wrap out that top 20, we've got Polkadot down 1.9 and Litecoin down 0.7. For those fear and greeds for today, we are looking at fear on that stock side still up a point. So looking to get out of that extreme fear as markets are not as concerned on some of those Trump tariffs. We'll kind of have to dive on into that one a little bit later in the week. But there are some heavy headlines coming out about those tariffs. I'll have to do a whole show on that tomorrow. We got crypto looking at 46 and fear still, looking for a nice little move to the upside, trying to see if we can get above that resistance. Oh, looks like I'm having a bit of a buffer issue. Let's see if that fixes up. We do have the crypto side of things sitting at 46 and fear as we are sitting above some resistance here. Let's see where the liquidity is residing on that liquidation heat map. We do have a strong hot spot to the top side of us, right at about $89,000. We will have to see if we can go up and grab that for the morning. And we've got a bit of some hot spots to the bottom side of us on the higher term time frame. Looking at that $85,000 spot for a brief little hot spot, and we do have a hotter spot to the bottom side at 83,500. That's that real area I would look at grabbing to the bottom side, and there's quite a bit of liquidity in that area, about $75 million, and be a very easy grab after clearing out that brief hotspot that's to the top side. I was looking at a bit of a continuation for Tuesday, and we'll kind of have to see if we get that. Let's zoom that on in to zoom that on out to the 2 week, kind of show you what I was looking at there yesterday. And we cleared out a lot of that top side liquidity. We do have that very hot spot down to the bottom side at about 80,000. And I still have my limit order set a little bit lower. We can kind of see if we reject to that bottom side this morning or this week, or if we continue this sideways movement. Let's dive into that economic calendar for the morning and say good morning to the chat. We do have some data coming out today. It will be some housing data for the morning. Nothing too worrisome, as now is not exactly the best time to buy a house. And I think we all kind of know that. We've been watching that, and the market's been pricing that in as well. You've seen slowdown on a bunch of the housing data for this year. You got your building permits month over month looking to do another decrease. We were sitting in the positive at the beginning of the year. We've moved down to negative 0.6, and we're now looking for that forecast at negative 1.2. So a continued slowdown on that housing data, nothing too concerning. You might get some slight movement off of the data at 9 though. The S&P Schiller home price year over year and month over month looking at a bit of an increase there. So showing a little bit of inflation pressures. We also get our consumer confidence at 10 a.m. So another big market mover for the morning. Kind of looking at a bit of an increase there from a decrease there from 98.3 to 94. Kind of in line with a bunch of what the markets has been talking about. A lot of concern in the short-term time frame, and you've been seeing that in the bond markets as well. Especially yesterday, you saw a lot of sell-off on those bonds. Let's hop over to that Bitcoin chart and say good morning to everyone in the chats. I see Moonbags in here. Good morning to you. I see Alexandra G, the mod queen. Good morning to you, Alexandra G. Hope you're having a great morning so far. Uncle Jesse in here. Like always, good morning to you. Hope you're having a great afternoon, since I know it's not morning for you, but it's morning for me. I see Jeffrey Stone Cipher, Donato Cabrera saying coffee in hand. Let's go. Most definitely. I see that's it in the chats for now. So if there's anyone lurking, go ahead, say good morning to us so we can say good morning to you. All right, we are sitting under some key resistance for Bitcoin. I talked about this, a $90,000 level being a strong resistance area. We still have plenty of momentum to continue getting up there. We're still printing green candles. On our MACD, we still have a nice green volume here on our daily term time frame. Money flow looking to continue moving sideways on the selling pressure. So that volume is trying to encompass that selling pressure right now, looking for that switch back to bullishness. But this 90,800 is going to be a strong resistance area. We grabbed all of that liquidity above that 382 that I had talked about yesterday, and we're looking to see if we can hold this 85,251 as some strong support. You can kind of see it's a bit flaggy here, and if it breaks out of this little trend, could be an ugly move to the bottom side. Let's zoom this on in to that 4 hour, see what we're looking at there. As you can kind of see, we're trying to make that continued push up. You do have money flow holding very steady in the 4 hour here, looking to bleed over into our higher term time frames. Volume staying very steady, as well as some buying volume as our prime oscillator is trying to cool off. So plenty of support right below us, looking for that pushback up to the upside and seeing if we can turn 90,800 into some support. Looking to continue to make these higher lows and higher highs. But as you can see, it is very flaggy, and that breakdown to the bottom side out of that flag does not look overwhelmingly positive. That's right around my limit order target at about 71,000. I'll tease that one tomorrow when we do some breakdown of that data. See where we're sitting tomorrow. I still think there's a little bit of some upside for the price action for today. We do have some heavy data coming out on Wednesday that I think the markets want to get that best topside price for. So we'll have to see if those market makers go up and grab that liquidity that's sitting up to the top side today. We've got that MACD on the hourly looking to hold our zero line here, getting a bit of some moves back to the upside, and our indicator line is also getting that curvature back to the upside as well. So looking like you might see a little bit of some continued upside as our money flow is staying very green here. You've got your volume, which has started to be some light selling volume here. So looking to see if that money flow can continue and push that volume back into some buying volume here. Got your prime oscillator with that reversal signal flashed, and the prime oscillator sitting a light red as it's on its way back up. We've got plenty of room to run to the upside here to see if we can get back above our strong resistance at 90,000. Let's zoom that on in to the 15-minute and see what the morning might be bringing our way here. We do have us looking like it's a little bit toppy on the prime oscillator. Your money flow went from green to red here, but just some light selling volume. You've got plenty of green volume to encompass all of that red money flow here, and looking for that continuation to the upside after we cool this prime oscillator off just a little bit. Probably a bit of some sideways movement here under the 382 like we've been seeing for the morning so far. This is all just some nice sideways movement as we try to cool off some of those short-term time frames and really have those higher term time frames hit that nice cross back to the upside and continue up where we've got all of this liquidity right here under our strong resistance. That'd be that first real area I would look for the top side before potentially looking at some bottom side targets. Let's hop over to this first news article I have pulled up, which touches a lot on that resistance I've been talking about. I see Crypto Billy in the chat. Good morning to you. Hope you're having a great morning so far. You need to turn on redirects, Billy, so that I can send people over after my show to your morning motivational video. That way you can get all those views for those people that haven't seen it. And then we can all go over to Alexo Crypto, since there's that 30-minute window in between me and him. So it gives them a nice little 8 to 10 minute video to watch in between and kill some time there. And start their mornings out the same way that I do. I love those morning motivational videos in the morning. All right, we got 4 reasons why Bitcoin's rally was halted at 89,000 and might not resume soon. The start of the business week was quite positive for Bitcoin as price jumped by several grand from the weekend stagnation and hit a multi-week peak of just under 89,000. However, it faced immediate resistance at that point and was pushed south to under 87,000 as of now. Here are some of the possible reasons behind the correction. I'm not sure who this is, but I'm sure they're on X. Crypto Potato warned yesterday that BTC's relative strength index, measuring the speed and change of price movements, had gone into that overbought territory of 70. Such a rapid increase typically means that the asset has reached a local top and could be heading for a correction. Crypto analyst Ali Martinez outlined on X what happened to Bitcoin the last 6 times it went into an overbought state. Hint, they were all painful. check out what happened to Bitcoin the last 6 times that RSI hit the overbought territory in a 4-hour chart. We'll kind of have to tease that one for tomorrow when I show y'all the flag pattern that I was looking at for this morning. And I think we have some time before that really plays out. That second technical indicator that could be behind Bitcoin's rejection is the TD sequential. It sort of complements the RSI, as it is also shows whether the buyers or sellers have reached market exhaustion. In the case of Bitcoin, it suggested a short-term top at the recent rally towards 89,000. After timing the recent top, the TD sequential indicator now suggests Bitcoin may be approaching a short-term top, hinting at profit taking ahead. The last potential reason for the technical perspective came in the form of resistance that had built up around that 89,000 mark. It was created when the 50-day moving average and descending trending from the all-time high converged and acted as a big roadblock in BTC's potential move towards 90,000 and 100,000, said Martinez. Whales offloading and bonus. Big Bitcoin holders, typically referred to as whales, use the opportunity to secure some profits amid BTC's rally. According to Martinez, who cited data from Sentiment, they disposed more than 20,000 Bitcoin, valued at roughly 1.8 billion at the prices from the local peak. Recall that whales have been accumulating in the past month as Bitcoin's price tumbled, but might have changed their strategy, at least for the short term. The bonus reason comes from Mt. Gox. Arkham noted that wallets related to the failed exchange had moved 1 billion worth of BTC. Such transfers typically scare off the market and lead to brief corrections. I see Crypto Princess in the chat. Good morning to you, or good afternoon, since I know you're over in the UK. Hope you've been having a great day so far. I see Kyle Fields as well. Crypto Billy says, yeah, man, just figuring it out. Well, when you do, shoot me a message so I can set up those redirects in the morning. That's you're the first thing I watch when I get back home from the gym. So it'd be great to set up those redirects for you. We got this article that I had talked about from yesterday's data drops. We were going to see the Bank of Japan's minutes, and we see plenty of worry about their inflation, especially where the US dollar and that JPY pair is looking quite negative for the yen. We will kind of have to see if that trend continues and if that dollar keeps gaining strength on them. And that's some of the worries that they've been looking at in their minutes. Let's break this down here. We got Tokyo with the yen's weakness making inflation stickier. Some of the Bank of Japan's policy board members grew more concerned about upside risks to prices at its January meeting when the central bank decided to raise interest rates. One member expressed the view that the risk of inflation expectations would exceed 2%, with CPI inflation remaining significantly above 2%. According to the minutes for the Bank of Japan's 23 to 24 meeting, the Bank of Japan lifted its policy rate to 0.5% from 0.25% at that meeting. Some of the nine-member policy board said that they thought consumer inflation, excluding volatile fresh food, is likely to be in the range of 2.5 to 3% for the current fiscal year ending March 31st, and stay around 2.5% in the following year, due partly to the higher import prices caused by the weak yen, the minute showed. One of the members said that it would mean that inflation would run above the bank's target of 2% for 4 consecutive years if the outlook becomes a reality, leading to a stronger perception of price increases among economic entities. The minutes showed that the board agreed to seek more interest rate increases, with most of the board members seeing the Japanese economy generally in line with the bank's outlook. One member said the Bank of Japan would raise the policy rate to 1% in the second half of the next fiscal year if the economy and prices continued to improve as projected. Governor Kazuo Ueda has recently become more cautious about the risks President Trump's economic policies could have on the global economy, but the January minutes showed that the board members had then felt comfortable about making the decision to raise the policy rates as markets were stable after Trump's inauguration. So kind of looking for a bit of a rate hike a little bit later in this year, probably after the end of summer, when we've already decreased our rates one more time. That would kind of motivate them to have that next rate hike, really keep their dollar strong against our dollar, especially if we do cut those rates a little bit more. Looking at the end of summer for that. That's the first expectations, and that's kind of what we've heard from the Fed as well. Let's see if anyone has any alt requests for the morning. I see Ada Ace in the chat. Good morning to you. Let's drop that link to your channel. And I'm in some talks with him as well, so we might be having a little bit of a Friday special with Ada Ace on the channel. We'll kind of have to work that all out, but I believe from our talks last night that he said he could show up on Friday. So if you'll have any questions, go ahead and drop those in the Discord for me about some of those ADA projects that he's been talking about. And we kind of discuss those with y'all and see what new information is out there. Because I know a lot has been happening with ADA and his ADA projects, like World Mobile Token has had a lot of updates, and I'd really like to hear about all of that. I know he's got a new project that has some great staking advantages as well. So a lot of questions, and drop those in the Discord for me if you've got any questions for Ada Ace on Friday. All right, let's hop over to that gold chart. Go ahead and drop those alt requests as I get through these, and I will get to those after I dive through all of these assets I was looking at for the morning. We've got gold holding up that 236 that I had talked about from yesterday on our fib extension. Got a nice strong bounce and a move above that 382. And we're sitting at a local resistance area. We do have our money flow looking to head back to the upside here, as our MACD is just breaking that zero line. Prime oscillator sitting nice and green here as we're waiting on that money flow to switch back to positive. Our volume is extremely positive here and looking to continue to increase here. So if we can get back above this local resistance area, turn it into some support, we've got a nice target to the upside at that golden pocket and $3,040. That'd be that first real area I would look at for resistance, as we've rejected off of it extremely hard on the way down. We did close out this fair value gap on this move to the upside and that 50% line before we really rejected back down to the downside, looking to cool off some of those higher term time frame oscillators with this bit of some sideways movement, as we saw markets being more risk on yesterday. That's kind of what saw that bottom side for gold, and you're seeing these longer term oscillators really getting back to that point where you can continue to see those upside targets for gold. That 4-hour maintaining the zero line on our MACD, looking to get that curvature back to the upside here as your prime oscillator is sitting light red with a very heavy buying pressure here and waiting for your volume to switch from selling to buying volume. So looking for that strong move back up to this golden pocket and $3,040. We do have a lot of resistance above that. That next little upside target you could kind of look for would be that platinum pocket and $3,056. There is a lot of selling pressure up in that range. So looking for that golden pocket to really be that first resistance area we kind of do some battle with and turn this 50% into some strong support before we really try to make that platinum pocket test. I see a few alt requests dropped in the chat. I saw Soul and what else was there? Soul, Arsan saying XRP sucks. Like always, I know he loves that XRP, so that's why he's always got to say something about it. I see big hedge funds bought AVAX. Sol and Ton yesterday was on CNBC. I will have to see if I can find that article for tomorrow. I did not hear about that. I had all my articles pulled up from last night, so let's take a look at a few of those projects. We got Sol already on that list. Let's look at AVAX and Ton. I don't think I've looked at Ton in a long time, so let's throw that one on the list as well. Have a lovely live stream, says Crypto Princess. Thank you. I appreciate you, Crypto Princess. If y'all haven't checked out her channel, most definitely do that as well. I don't have a link to that in my links, but I'm sure someone will drop it here in just a second. I gotta get that one added to my list. All right, I have Sol, AVAX, and Ton. So any other alt requests, go ahead and drop those in the chat for me. I was looking at the Dixie, and it looks like we're trying to maintain our one line on our fib extension here. We do have a very strong support to the bottom side. If we end up breaking below that, that's going to be that platinum pocket here on a fib extension and 100. It does look like that weekly has some more continuation to the downside here. If we are unable to maintain this one line at 103.70, 103.58 there, that'd be that first real area I would look at us trying to hold. If we're unable to maintain that, look for some continuation to the downside with all of this strong support underneath us. That's that 100 level I was talking about for the Dixie. We do have that daily looking quite nice for some continuation to the upside though. Printing some nice green candles here on our MACD with a nice MACD cross of our indicator line to the top side, but it's not looking like a strong move to the upside, as you are seeing a little bit of some curvature already on that MACD. So might see some sideways movement with that indicator line on the bottom side to really try to bring back in that money flow. We've got the prime oscillator looking light, nice and green here as it's getting that move to the upside, but you've got lots of selling volume underneath us. So looking for that potential of a continuation to the downside if we're unable to really maintain that one line there. Kind of looking like that same on the weekly. We've got that potential for the downside if you're unable to maintain that key area. Let's take a look at the hourly and see what that day might be bringing our way. You've got your MACD at the bottom side of our indicator line as we've looking for those first red candles, printing that next giant red candle here as that hourly just rolled over at 6 a.m. my time, and looking for that downside on the prime oscillator as well. Looking very heavy red as we're trying to maintain some of this buying volume and trying to get to that point where we print a reversal signal. That's where I'd look at that retest of our one line at the top and 103.70 to try to see if we see a little bit of a bounce there. Looking for a bit of some cooling off here on the MACD and our prime oscillator before we see some continued upside movement. I see Jay Violet and the Dusty Hunt in here this morning. Good morning to you guys. Hope you're having a great day. I know Jay Violet's day is probably almost done there, so I appreciate you showing up, Jay Violet. I was taking a look at ADA yesterday for ADA Ace in the Discord. If you are not a WAP upperclassman, it's very, very cheap. We've got, I think it's $20 a month, and you get a lot of one-on-ones with the content creators on this channel. And let me get that link dropped in the chat there. We got that WAP upperclassman, and we broke down that ADA chart last night. We were looking at us getting back to our strong resistance area. That's that 76 cents. That we're looking at getting above right now. We've got our MACD crossing our indicator line here on the daily, printing our first green candle here, looking for a continuation of money flow to come back in. You've got your prime oscillator looking light red as it's curving back to the top. Let's get that moved over a little bit so you can see it. There we go. Got that MACD getting that curvature back to the top as it's sitting light red here, looking for a continuation to the upside. You've got lots of green volume sitting underneath us, waiting for that to really overpower that selling pressure that we've been sitting in as we get to the top side of our sideways range, looking for that 80-cent mark to kind of be that first strong resistance. Should have YOLO'd into ADA right now, says ADA Ace. I'm not so sure about that one. I think you get another little bounce of that golden pocket here. I don't think we break below it unless we're really seeing some nasty downside on Bitcoin. But we will kind of have to dive into that one tomorrow, because I did tease some of that for tomorrow, and we're sitting right at some key areas where once we sweep that top side liquidity for Bitcoin, it looks like all bottom side liquidity to really drag those market makers and that price action to the bottom side to pick up a lot of liquidity. I do think there's a bit of some continuation into today, as you can see here on your hourly, looking a little bit toppy here, but you've got your prime oscillator looking very, very green as we're kind of topping out, getting up to this resistance area. You've got nice green volume here on the hourly, and your MACD is continuing to the upside here. So plenty of room to run to that upside. If you see a little bit of a cool off here on the shorter term time frame, seeing a reversal signal here on the 15-minute as your prime oscillator is moving quite sideways and trying to maintain that green. You've got all of your volume here being nice and green as well. So looking for a slight cool off on that price action. Let's get a horizontal ray drawn up where you might see a bit of a bounce if we see that slight downside for the morning, and that's going to be about 74 cents where I'd look at for our next bounce. Let me get that one deleted. We've got that short-term bounce that we'd be looking for at about 74 cents to get that continuation back to the upside, and 76 to that 80-cent zone where there's a lot of resistance and negative space might be a good take profit point. We did have that breakdown yesterday. We're sitting still at that TP1 on our oscillator on that Oracle, And looking for that TP2 up here in this range. I believe that's sitting around 79 cents. We will kind of have to see. Oh, that's the Piper Sniper. I guess I don't have this one on that chart. So we'll skip on to the next. We had Solana requested and AVAX and TON. So we'll hop into Sol. Any other alt requests for me today? Go ahead and drop those in the chat there. We got Solana sitting back above a key area I was looking at. We got that strong bounce off of 130. Never really touched back at that 135 to 136 range. Just continued through it. Created a fair value gap there and are looking to find some strong support on the shorter term time frame here in about the middle of that fair value gap that we created to the upside there. Let's end up deleting those for our short term bounces and zoom this on out to that higher term time frame. We got that 4 hour looking very, very toppy here. As you see, those overbought signals, prime oscillator looking very red, and money flow not really overwhelmingly positive in the green. You've got nice green volume here, so looking for some of that shorter term time frame to continue that money flow into the 4 hour after you got that strong bounce off of 130. Might have to zoom this on out, find a local fib range here. We've got that top side and the bottom side, and we're sitting right at that 382 bounce in our current range, looking for that move back up to the upside. Let's get that macro fib hidden and see what we'd be looking for the golden pocket. Looking at about 154.48, which is above all of the selling pressure that we had seen going in the sideways range. So if we can get back up to that golden pocket, that might be that take profit zone I'd really look for. 4 hour looking like it's got a little bit of some continuation to keep going there. 1 hour looking like it's at an indecision point. You've got a nice green volume, but nice green money flow, but your volume's looking a little bit red here. You've got your prime oscillator just switching to the green though, as your MACD is looking to try to cross our indicator line as we've started printing lighter red candles, and those candles have really slowed up. So looking for a bit of a continuation to the upside if we can continue to see some positive money flow. We've got the Dusty Hunt saying, is Bitcoin going to 147.24 today? No. Not likely. I was hoping the BTC 140K today comment was a joke, says Arsan246. I think it is a joke, but we'll kind of have to see. But I think we all know that price action is not just gonna blast off to the upside like that. There's always the potential, but that's a crazy upside target to hit in a day. And let's get over to the Bitcoin chart and see from here to 140,000. Let's zoom that on out to the weekly so you can kind of get a better view. There we go. From a current price action to 140, you're talking about 70% move to the upside. So I don't think that's very plausible, but that's just this lowly man's opinion there. We got Solana looking like it could continue here on that hourly if you can continue to see that positive money flow staying in and that volume switch back to some buying volume here. 15-minute and the morning looking like you need to see a little bit of a cool off and a retest of that 138.54 and that 382 of our current level. That'd be that bouncing point I would look for that move back to that golden pocket at 154.63. We had AVAX requested, and I got plenty of time for a few other alt requests. So go ahead, drop those in the chat for me. We got AVAX. Scroll it on down. There we go. Have not taken a look at AVAX in quite a while, apparently. Um, Sitting on that daily, we are above that platinum pocket here, looking for a continuation to the upside. You've got plenty of selling pressure to the top side of us, looking for about $24.82 to be that first area I would get above. You got your daily looking quite positive here on your MACD and your prime oscillator as you're starting to get very green money flow. And the prime also looking very green as it continues this move to the upside. Got that MACD cross of our indicator line and looking to cross that zero line. That very equal candle bodies here at 24.97 would be that first area I would really look at for some resistance there on AVAX. Looking for that daily term time frame to kind of maintain some of that green money flow. We'll see where we're sitting at for that hourly and the day. Looking a little bit toppy here on our prime oscillator, but not a end to the bullishness. It is sitting very green as we're getting that curvature volume just starting to pick up on that green volume, and your MACD just hit that cross of our indicator line to the top side as we started to print some green candles here on the MACD. So that's that continuation I would really look for after a bit of some cool off. We got that double bottom here on the price action and looking for that continuation to the upside. You do have some slight resistance above us at that order block here. That'd be this range. I would really look for between $23 and $24. If we can get above that, there's some liquidity there that would really drag up markets to the upside for AVAX, and see if you can turn that into some support. Got that 15-minute and the morning looking like you might see a little bit of some cool off and a retest of those lower levels, the same way that we were looking at for Solana and potentially Bitcoin to continue that upside movement there. You've got a nice bouncing point at $21 and about 65 cents where we see all of these candle bodies. Let me get that drawn out there. We got 21.68, which would be a nice strong bouncing point for AVAX to retest and launch up from. Will really depend a lot on this money flow here, but you've got nice green volume here on that 15-minute and waiting for that money flow to kind of switch back over to the green here as we try to cool these oscillators off. That'd be that little bit of a downside I'd look for as we're printing very, very small green candles here after our MACD line broke back to the top side of our indicator line, but is getting a bit of some curvature. Let's hop into TON. I'm not seeing any other alt requests, so might just take a look at one of my favorite projects. We'll see if we get any other alt requests. So we got Tron. Oh, we got TON that was requested. Let's get to TON. There we go. I don't think I've taken a look at TON in a long time. We got that sitting above the platinum pocket as well. A lot of these alts looking very, very similar as you're getting that nice green volume here on our daily. But unlike the last project we had looked at, you're starting to get some curvature here on your prime oscillator and your MACD as well, starting to print smaller green candles that are light green, and that prime oscillator just switched to the red. So looking like it's unable to really maintain some of that buying volume in this range. Looking for probably a retest of that platinum pocket to try to continue up to the upside there. Let's zoom this on in to that 4 hour, see what we'd be looking at for the next couple days. Looking for a cool off of this oscillator. You've got very, very light selling volume here in this range. So could be a very quick switch back to the positive off of a retest of that platinum pocket there. Looking at that 1 hour, seeing what the day might be bringing our way. Got your MACD sitting below those indicator lines, printing some heavy red candles here on the MACD, and your prime oscillator just switched from light red to heavy red. Got a divergence here that really push us back down to that platinum pocket. If we are unable to maintain this support range at about $3.50. So that'd be that first area I would kind of look for. If you're unable to maintain $3.50, look back to that platinum pocket with how bearish those higher term time frames are looking. 15-minute looking like you've got that continuation to the bottom side. Heavy indicator line cross to the bottom side as we started printing very red candles here. Prime oscillator looking extremely red with some continued downside targets, but you've got a little bit of green volume to kind of hold us up here. So looking for that switch of money flow and that 15 to 1 hour, and that's where I'd look for that $3.50 there. That was TON. We got ETH or VET, and Kaspa went to the hate bag. What took you so long to get Kaspa into that hate bag there, sir? Kaspa has not been on my radar since last year. We had VET or ETH. We got time for both, so let's take a look at ETH first. And as I talked about yesterday, looking for that slight cool off before we try to get that continuation push to the upside of our fair value gap, which we are sitting in. We got that 4 hour looking like it's quite toppy here, but we're at an indecision point after we got that nice strong bounce off of that 236, looking for the continuation to the upside, but don't have very strong money flow to really hold that up too strongly. You got that midline of our fair value gap coming in at $2,031. So if we can make a nice low there, would indicate some nice strength for a pushback up to the upside of our fair value gap. Prime oscillator looking quite red, but your volumes maintaining some green buying volume as you're seeing some of this money flow come out, but it is getting some curvature back to the upside here. So looking for some of those shorter term time frames to really bleed into that high term time frame there. Got your hourly looking like it's at an indecision point here. You've got it moving quite sideways here with that indicator line. So looking to see if we can start having some money flow come in and maintain some of that green buying volume as this red volume is slowing up quite a bit. So if we can have that money flow bleed over from our short-term time frame, overpower some of that selling volume here, you could look for that move back to the top side and $2,145. Let's see what that 15-minute and the morning might be bringing our way here. Looking quite toppy on our prime oscillator and MACD as you're getting that curvature and moving a little bit sideways here. Could just be cooling that prime oscillator off, seeing that reversal signal flash looking light red. Money flow just switched from green to red here, but you've got very green volume here that is looking to roll over just a little bit. So that might be that retest of the 236 here that we'd be looking for at 2052 for a continuation to the upside. So got a few bottom side targets for ETH. That'd be 2051 or 2032 that I'd really look for. Allow those higher term time frame oscillators to cool off and a continuation with some money flow on the short term time frame to bleed over into that high term time frame and really scoop up that upside target. Where you see a bit of liquidity is Athena price at risk. Trump's World Liberty Financial sells 184,000 ENA. Oh, I guess that might be a headline for tomorrow, Jesse. if you've got a link to that, send that over to me in Discord. I'll have to dive on into that one. We got a vet that was requested as well. I believe that's in my favorites here. There it is, sitting at 26 cents. Got a nice strong move to the upside. 0.26. There we go. Got that strong move off of 250. So that was that area I was looking at vet holding. Got a brief visit to the bottom side of it before you really saw strong movement to the upside. Let's take a look at that 4 hour, see what we might be looking at. Getting some curvature back to the upside here on your prime oscillator, but it is sitting very red here. Got a nice light green volume as your MACD is trying to continue running to the upside with our indicator line as well, printing some nice green candles here. So looking for that potential upside target of 0.28182, which I had drawn out from the last time we had looked at VET. That is still that upside target I would be looking for after we were able to maintain some of these bottom side targets. We do have that hourly and the day looking very indecisive. Got your MACD line looking to potentially cross your indicator line on the top side as you started to print the first green candle here. Really have to zoom that on in. Oh, it's waffling back and forth from light red to green, light green here. So if we can maintain some of our green volume here and have some money flow coming in with it, we could really hit that nice MACD cross to the upside above our zero line and push things to the upside, and that 0.28182 on VET. That, let's see what that morning and the 15-minute might be bringing our way here. Looking like you might need to see that triple bottoming down here at our bottom side, a double bottoming here at 0.259 though. That would cool off these oscillators quite a bit and allow for that pushback to the upside. Kind of no different than what we've been looking at for the rest of those alts. Thank you, Jesse, for sending that link over to me. We got 5 ADA each on Hydra sales from your ADA wallet is all you need to do, not from an exchange wallet, says ADA Ace. Talking about that NFT raffle that he's got going on. I'm sure he'll talk all about that on Friday. So if you got any questions on that, go ahead and send those over in the Discord, and I will get a whole list of questions for ADA Ace on Friday. So looking for a little bit of a bounce to the bottom side on VET, just like a lot of the other projects we have been looking at this morning. That'd be that 0.25880 to really launch us up to that upside target. Things looking quite similar all over the markets. And for funsies, let's just take a look at Kaspa. Kaspa sitting under all of the areas that I'd been looking at. I know someone had asked for Kaspa a long time ago, and it looks like it's unable to really break that 8-cent mark. That's a very, very strong resistance for Kaspa. But unlike a lot of these other projects, it's been maintaining that platinum pocket a whole lot better. So potential for a bigger move to the upside here, and 10 cents if it can really turn some of these areas into some support on our higher term time frame. Let's get that daily chart pulled up. Really maintained that platinum pocket bounce quite well here, stagnating just a bit around that 8-cent mark. Looking a little bit bearish for that daily as you're starting to get that MACD curvature, but you're still printing nice light green candles here. Got very, very nice buying volume here on the daily. Got a bit of a divergence with a rollover on that prime oscillator. So let's see what the shorter term time frame is looking at. Pull up that 2 hour. looking like you might see a little bit of a continuation back up to that 8 cent mark before you really see some resistance all over again. Got that prime oscillator with a reversal signal looking light red with some nice green buying volume. MACD getting that curvature back to the upside with some light red candles here. So definitely got a little bit of bullishness for Caspa on the shorter term time frame, really trying to hold up that higher term time frame. Got your 15-minute looking a bit toppy though, so a retest of your lower levels might be what you'd be looking for before you really try to make that move back up to 8 cents. Got a strong area right below us at about 76807. That could be that bouncing point you'd look for all over again. Would be a nice double bottom and a continuation to that 8 cent mark. Not a bad little target for Caspa. Really depends on that short-term time frame. Seeing lots of green volume here, and would really need to overpower some of the selling money flow that we're seeing on the short-term time frame. Other than that, looking quite similar to the rest of the markets. So seeing a little bit of some downside before you see that continuation to the upside in preparation for tomorrow's data drop. Let's get that economic calendar pulled up so you know what I'm talking about there. We got a lot of posturing for tomorrow's data, and that's going to be these durable goods orders. Looking for a massive decrease on those durable good orders from 3.1% in the positive to -1%. So a bit of a downside pressure for the market going into tomorrow. I think that's part of why you do see some of these upside targets being reached for, so that these market makers can have a decent price to sell off on. A lot of negatives on these durable goods orders. Crude oil information also looking all to the bottom side, which is not a good inflation indicator as well. So I'm sure Piper will tease some of that durable goods orders for the morning today, and we'll kind of see what his breakdown of that data is. But looking like you have a lot of downside targets off of this week's data drops. All right, there we will wrap up the show there, and I will drop that Crypto Billy link in the chat. I believe I had that pulled up in the background. I'm not sure if this one was today's or yesterday's. I'm pretty sure this one was today's though. So after the show, make sure you tune in to that Crypto Billy motivational mindset video. He does a great job at setting the tone for the morning. Make sure to tune in to the rest of the Piper Academy. We've got Piper and the Morning Market Report at 10 a.m. We've got that Trade Academy at 4 p.m. Eastern Time with Trade Intuition. Gives a great breakdown of the charts and his thought processes, which is the more important part, you know? You can go off of what people say and sometimes win or sometimes get wrecked, but not understand why you do it. And instead, he likes to break down his thought process on it. So a great chat to be in and a great place to learn at 4 p.m. here on the Piper Academy. We've got OC Guy with his new show at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Gives some great trade setups. So another great place to learn how to trade. Make sure to tune into that one as well. And we've also got Markets After Dark with Lunar Beaches Crypto at 11 p.m. If you're a late night person, that's the place to be. If you got questions on Elliott Wave Theory, that's the man to ask. He does a great job on Elliott Wave Theory. Other than that, make sure to trade safe today. You might see a little bit of volatility for the morning before you see that continuation to the upside. But make sure to wake up because today's going to be a good day.